believe we're now live. Okay.
We're live and going. Hello, and welcome to the first out of character session for the Society of Chaotic Weirdos. What is the Society? It's us, a group of international nerds pretending to do extraordinary things in multiple TTRPG games. We've decided to branch out with a sort of mostly unscripted, out of character podcast type thing that we're doing right now. I'm Izzy, they, he, the DM for the world of Evatoria. Joining me tonight are part of the crew. And introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Burrito, he, him. I played Flux in Evatoria, and current resident of the Nine Hills. I passed the baton to Lockie.
Hello, I'm Lockie, significant other to Izzy. I'm an Eldritch Horror, otherwise known as he, him. I'm the one who runs the podcasts and does all the technical stuff. I'm the master of the technical stuff, apparently. And yeah, I'm resident of a small island just off the coast of Europe. So yeah, that's me.
And I am Dragonclaw92, mostly just called DC or Dragon. I played Calais in the early episodes, and when recording started off, I was right in the middle of switching characters, so now I play the wonderfully grumpy Catabasis. As for general location, I am somewhere in the Great White North, known as Canada.
Alright, so I don't know if we're going to do a lot tonight with talking, guys. We're just kind of trying to introduce everybody to us. I know missing tonight we have, the players of Leo and Panama, and and Sasha. We do have a player who is departed, and we will be having a new player joining us soon. So it's gonna be interesting for our next session. So I guess the first thing I want to know from you guys is, do you have any questions about the way that, like, Evatoria has been created, or anything like that? Obviously, no spoilers for the actual game.
I am curious about one aspect, and that's generally what inspired the initial designs, not necessarily the story, because like you just said, no spoilers, and I'm not going to try and wheedle that out. But yeah, what just inspired the initial, I guess, kickstarting and world of Evatoria?
Uh, well, I'm a failed writer. No. Um, I've always done a lot of, like, world building. Even, like, as a child, when myself and all my cousins would play, I'd be the one, like, coming up with the make-believe worlds we were playing in. And, so for Evatoria, I had started on and off writing, the sort of world and the story I had. But as I often do when I'm writing, is I get a, like, outline set up of important places and things and characters, and I can't seem to connect anything, which has been a fault of mine. I've been DMing for over 20 years now. I am very old. And so I went to the I was in a different Discord server that was actually spawned by basically fans of the show Critical Role, and we kept talking about, hey, should we, like, get a game set up for everybody? Because a lot of people hadn't played before, and Critical Role being a D&D game, everyone's like, oh, well, yeah, I really want to play. So I had messaged the player of Leo, being like, hey, I'm going to start this thing. I have this kind of story set up in my head, and do you want to join? He said, no, I can't join right now, blah, 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 which was fine. And then I messaged him that server, ended up getting I think that was the player of Sasha and the player of Astaria were from there. And I obviously, Dragon, I met you through the player of Astaria. Ended up jumping into a different Discord server to just send out, feelers for other players. Grabbed a couple. Some worked. Well, most of those ones didn't work out. They ended up departing between campaign 1 and campaign 2. But I ended up meeting Burrito and Panama and a couple other players through those players. So people, I know I'm kind of rambling here. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that was, a whole bunch of different inspirations, and Lockie, our resident archivist here, had originally not played with us. If you remember back in our first campaign, he was our lovely NPCs a couple times for us, and he is our map maker. I go to him, I'm like, I have this idea. I want this. And he's like, okay, I can do that for you. So, truthfully, and I know Burrito doesn't believe this, most of the story comes from a very small little outline I have, and just what you guys do between, at each session builds on it. This, I will say, campaign 2, there's a lot more, bigger things moving in the background. We have Caneth and a couple different cults going on, and the gods, and all sorts of fun stuff. So, yeah. I probably didn't answer your question there. I'm sorry.
No, I think you did. You covered the general basis, which was what started it. And yeah, I think you covered my question.
I know that a lot of things, like, I will go, before Lockie was a player, I would go to him and be like, hey, I have this idea. This is the world. And he's like, okay, how does it fit into your world? And we would kind of brainstorm to figure out how things fit. Because at least one of my pet peeves is when you have a whole homebrewed world and system where suddenly you want to throw in an element and then it doesn't really make sense. Which is like within EVA, we have that balance between technology advances and magic, and they're kind of playing at each other, where if you remember from campaign 1 DC, that one of the ways that you guys know if you have technology, if you know there's magic around, it often breaks. So we're one of the things hopefully you guys will be figuring out is how to balance that this campaign. So I would like to ask each of you, and I don't care, you guys can pick your order, because I know it won't be, what is one thing from Eva that you want to personally see more of as a player? I'll call on one of you like a teacher. Alright, down the list, we're going to start with Burrito.
I didn't want to just assume to be first, so because I was first during the introduction. I personally want to see more of the tiefling children, the vitiligo kids.
Oh yes, because that's not actually been, I don't think, said very much on the actual recorded sessions. There's a branch of tieflings who, the oldest are about 19, the youngest I think I've said are sitting around, 14. There's a few younger that are all basically half-siblings, spread throughout Evatoria with a mostly unknown source of male parentage, who all have vitiligo in one form or another. So that is something I look forward for you guys to meet some more of them, hopefully. Alright. Lockie, is there anything else you'd like to see more of?
Not sure. I guess more of the industrial side of things, perhaps. We spent a lot of time in the magical cities, which was great, but so more the industrial side, if we're or just the wilderness side, because we seem to spend a lot of time in cities in general. So, but that's just because rangers aren't a great deal of use in cities. So.
Yeah, like I know there's a couple cities that hopefully you guys will be going to soon. Um, Depending on what you guys choose to do, if you guys choose to follow the original quest set out by the illustrious Mr. Harp and find the tea sets, or if you guys go off and do your own thing. I know Yelazrin and Owakun are both two cities that I'm thinking you guys are going to go to. And those are both of the bigger industrial cities of Arameria and Paraxia, respectfully. Ugh, I'm sorry, guys. I cannot speak English anymore today. So hopefully you guys get to see more of that and get some more travel between the cities of wildernessy stuff. Alright, DC, what would you like to see more of?
Well, honestly, yes. Like it's so hard to pick just one thing. Especially after being in campaign 1 and exploring a couple things there. There's stuff that I didn't get to see in campaign 1 that I really wanted to that uh, now that we're in campaign 2 and now that it's been mentioned, it's like, oh, okay, I really want to go here now. Um, but just I want to see just everything. Like I pretty much loved Evatoria since I started playing with the group, and just I'm just so excited to see more and interact with more of the NPCs, see more of the wilderness and the cities, and there's just so much to dig into with this. It's like if this was an ice cream bucket, there's no spoon big enough to get that first satisfying bite. You have to just keep going. That is a very weird way to put it, but as people, listen to our stuff, they'll know I'm prone to unusual phrases. But yeah,
I love
I honestly can't pick any one particular thing, which doesn't exactly answer the question, but there's just so many things to see and do, and so much chaos and adventure and excitement and intrigue to be had. It's like I don't know where to start, so just point me in a direction and I will say yes.
I love it. So we had just had an eclipse, one of the two yearly lunar eclipses in Evatoria, which, if you guys haven't realized in character yet, this might be a little spoiler, but magic is particularly stronger during those times, and of course also during the uh, solar eclipses when those happen as well. And are your characters prepared for the shift in magic, and especially with having been in a lot of contact with the gods recently, when the magic starts shifting away from the eclipse, are you guys prepared for what's going to be coming?
Quick answer: no.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure Lockie's ever really prepared for things, but he'll He'll try and be. He's not a big magic user, so he should be okay.
At this point, I can easily say that Katabasis doesn't know what to expect. I think at this point in time, even if it does catch him off guard, he's probably just mostly inclined to be like, "All right, one more thing for us to deal with," and just roll with it. Um, even though he's a druid, he's never really been hugely leaning into the magic, which seems odd, but a story that listeners and players present don't know. So I'm not saying a word. But no, I don't think Catabasis will really be too phased whether or not he's expecting it or, braced for anything. He's just gonna take it in stride and survive. That's basically his motto. So why change?
So, alright, so I'm going to switch to asking more stuff about players. I'm going to actually give my input with that as well. As I had mentioned earlier, I've been DMing for about 20 years. I've been playing about 22 years. Started with 3.0 for D&D. Then I went to 3.5 for way too long. Evatoria was actually my first game I ran in 5e. So occasionally you guys do hear me still say things 3.5 wise, which you guys just have learned to roll with it. I've also played both tabletop and LARPing for VTM Vampire the Masquerade, along with some homebrew. I have dabbled into the kids on brooms. Not particularly something too many changes too fast. So, I've also done some homebrew worlds, or games formats. There was a superhero game. I can't remember what it was. I looked it up the other day, but I'll have to look it up again. That I've done. So, what are each of your experiences with role playing or tabletop games, or if you've LARPed in general?
Well, similar in the sense that I was when I was a kid, I was also the one that was making up the stories as we're playing like make believe and stuff on the playground. When I was like 7 or 8, I would hang out with my cousin who was like much older. He was like in late high school when I was a kid. I would like sit in and listen to him and his friends play D&D, and I believe they were playing 3.5 or Pathfinder. I can't tell. I was too young, but so played a lot with them. It was the big moment childhood. I get to like sit with the big kids and play their games and stuff like that. And then kind of as got older, stuff like that. When I was in high school, I would run kind of like, I struggle to call it D&D. I had a D&D Dungeon Master's Guide in the Forgotten Realms Wikipedia page, and so we played that, whatever I came up with on a Saturday night, and was that me and those friends have been playing pretty much D&D like 5th edition since then.
Well, for me, I haven't really done a great deal of role playing in the traditional sense. Played a bit of 3.5 back in mid 2000s, I suppose. But not a great deal. I mean, I used to play Dungeons and Dragons back on the old Atari ST. I think that was Advanced D&D 2nd edition or something along those lines. But that's going way back. I'm a big computer role player. I don't have many friends, so I'm on my own most of the time.
Oh.
So yeah, this is all rather a new experience for me.
I think you're doing really well.
Well, thank you.
How about you, Dragon?
Well, first off, I'm going to second what Izzy said about Lockie and getting the game. It's been, well, I'll just throw it out there right now. It's been an absolute treat to play with everybody in our group. Um, and the group's heard it a lot of times, but I'm saying it here anyway. Um, y'all are basically like second family to me, and it's just so much fun to just get to hang out on Fridays and chat and text and whatever, and just chill. It's just been a great experience. Um, as for my uh, history with role playing, um, I well, it's a little bit difficult. I guess it's like semi LARP. When my brother and I were little, my granddad made us wooden swords to run around with, and we'd fight each other and fight imaginary goblins and whatever else we got into, dinosaurs and orcs, and um, fantasy was always something that was, you know, a favorite in the family. Um, my mom read The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings to us, and Chronicles of Narnia, things like that, high fantasy. Um, and eventually I got into the Legend of Drizzt series, which I still need to work my way through. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. My first experience with D&D was actually, I think, back in like 2010, maybe. And that was in fourth edition, which was a lot more strict with things than 3.5, second ed, fifth ed, things like that. But I fell in love with it right away. Um, and it was a great adventure, just getting to get a feel for the game. I'd actually done text-based role playing online for, oh goodness, I years. Since I was a young teenager. So I'd always been, and I'd always liked writing, so I was already in kind of the habit of, getting into a character and playing the story. So D&D was something I fell into really quickly. Um, and I've also played 3.5, which was a decent enough system, but I did have my own gripes about it. I'm not going to get into it. People are allowed to love 3.5. I know a lot of people did. Um, I think it was more of a group situation than a game situation. And after that group, we disbanded. Um, I hadn't played for a while and then ended up playing solo games with someone else. And I got to actually try Second Ed, which was a very different dice system and yet oddly similar. I couldn't explain the difference between THACO and the current dice system, but it's a little bit wibbly wobbly. Um, but it was fun. And then I played in one or two groups, and now I'm here with the society, and it has been an absolute blast. And just getting to not only play a bunch of the different characters, but also see what other people bring to the table. And even running a game in the group, like my own side game in the group with the for everyone, has just been an absolute riot. So I haven't been playing D&D for too long, maybe 10, 12 years at the most on and off, so like 3 years ish. But I have been involved in role playing of various forms, video games, running around outside and with my cousins and swinging wooden objects, pretty much since I was old enough to hold a wooden sword.
Oh, I just love that. Uh, I love that so much. But yeah, for listeners we may or may not eventually have, um, we do a lot of games that are not recorded as well. A lot of one shots, and the Fridays that Eva typically isn't run, uh, Dragon does a high fantasy. I'd say it's high fantasy. Crazy. I don't even know how to describe heartwarming. It's the the valve that lets off steam for a lot of us, where we get to just run around and be chaotic children and stuff. So it's D&D meets Nutcracker kinda. But yeah, I love hearthwarming. I know we we do a lot of one shots. We're planning a couple Halloween specials. We always do a Christmas thing. We're actually continuing our Christmas tradition this year with same world, different thing. We also should do the Eva rewinds that we don't record. I think all of you have been. You all three were in the same Eva rewind, weren't you?
I
no.
don't think I've been in yet.
Oh, you haven't? No. That's
No,
because
it was
Ian
it was yeah.
Yeah.
It was Ian and Burrito and I, and it was chaotic fun in so many just I yeah, it was a lot of fun. It might actually be worthwhile to record the Eva rewinds, even just for our own reviewing, because they were a lot of fun.
Yeah. And again, Eva Rewind is basically I pick a point in the past of Evatoria where it's interesting things have happened, but not something that I could ever run a full campaign for. And so far, it's been you guys have found out some kind of valuable information as players, I guess. And I experiment with, different things with you guys at that point. I'm not gonna say it was a haunted house, but it was kind of a haunted house, that one rewind with you guys.
I lovingly refer to it in my memory as the Sap House.
That's because it bled?
Sap, yes.
Yes. Well, okay, it was specifically like dragon's blood, trees, sap type thing. It was not like humanoid blood. I'm not that crazy. Alright, I have a question for each of you. If you as a player could interview one of the gods of the Evatorian Nine, who would you sit down and have a conversation with?
Valerian, because he's the only one that my character has. Are you asking me or about my character?
You, personally.
Me, personally? Kragma.
Yeah.
I would want to have a conversation with Kragma.
Kragma, the lawful evil goddess of death.
Right, because canonically she's the only one that didn't start off as immortal, so I just have a lot of, dumb burrito questions on that, have you ever, tried eating?
I love it. Alright, how about Lockie? Or...
Ooh. I think it'd be Kragma. Just because insights on death always somewhat intrigue me.
Love it. Not morbid at all. You and I are our own version of the Addams Family. How about you, Dragon?
That's honestly a really good question, especially with just the stuff I've seen in game and whatnot. Honestly though, I am absurdly biased, and I will have to say Bolin, and that's not just because of catabasis. The concept of a um honorable fighter, swashbuckling gentleman character. Um, like, and come on, for for the listeners out there, I do tend to have a soft spot for dark elves. And the fact that Bolin is sometimes depicted as one is kind of helping him in that, but mostly it's just I want to know more about his personality. I want to know more about just in general. He seems like a fun guy to talk to. So that I'm gonna go with Bolin and stop rambling there because I tend to ramble.
So, weirdly enough, I'm sure none of this surprises any of you. I would sit down and have a conversation with Gesture. So, yeah, because I want to know things. And I know you'll be like, okay, but you created her, you know things. But in the aspect of her being a god, then I wouldn't know everything. So, even though she's not my favorite, but I can't pick my favorite child. So, talking about favorites then, do any of you have a favorite non-god NPC that we've come across so far?
Cracks open notebook. Honestly, with the lady who ran the tea shop, Miss Gwendolyn Crone, something like that. I thought that the interaction with her was interesting, and that lady's got secrets.
Oh, back in Otana.
Yeah, her.
I wonder if she got out of Otana.
Yeah, I wonder if a lot of people made it out of there.
Guess you guys will have to wait and see. How about Loki or Dragon? Do either of you have a favorite NPC yet?
Hmm. I'm not sure again.
I have. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't.
You
No,
go
no, go
ahead.
ahead.
I
Go
was
ahead.
still
No,
pondering.
no, no, no.
I was just pondering.
Okay, as long as you're sure.
I'm sure.
Okay. It's really hard for me to pick a favorite, and part of me is also like, does this count campaign one characters who became NPCs, or is this just campaign two NPCs that weren't player characters? So is there a specification on that? Because that could change things.
Um, I would say skip the campaign 1 characters who have become NPCs in campaign 2. Just because, I'm pretty sure I can guess who your favorite is.
Yeah,
If we
very, very blatant personal biases going on in there. um, in that case, oh man. I think my favorite so far is, or favorites, because I've got it narrowed to two. Um, I have it narrowed to two. One is our illustrious Mr. Harp, this wonderful man of mystery, and I'm just like, I want to know more about this guy, and I want to know more about this tea set that we forgot to keep collecting. I want to know what's going on there,
Oh
even
yeah.
if it takes us a while to get around to it. But I fear our dear Mr. Harp might be overshadowed by somebody else who is a far more minor character. And that would be the lovely Miss City or Obsidian, who has only shown up once in at the table.
Oh, yes. Our lovely Miss City, who helped Catabasis figure out how he fit in when he first joined. I think that you guys will be interested to find out what happens with the tea set, whether you guys try to finish collecting it or avoid it. as I know there seems to be a kind of split with the group on what you guys are doing with that.
You can at me.
Well, I don't think Lockie wants to give it up. You know, he's turned it into a booming, just that word, moonshine business.
Bootlegging enterprise.
Yeah, since when Lockie is holding it, it makes alcohol.
Oh, okay. Hang on. I'm flipping the script on Lockie here. Isn't Mr. Harp your employee? Isn't he your employer?
I mean, technically speaking, a freelance agent working for whoever has coin. So I mean,
okay. So what you're telling me is that the cleric can bribe you?
In theory.
Okay, good to know.
Oh, that's dangerous.
If it's not obvious, Flex doesn't want the T set one in all together in one place.
But that's because Flux knows things.
It is a deeply paranoid person.
Well, to be fair, I haven't given him reason not to be paranoid.
I didn't say it was unjustified paranoia. I just said he was paranoid.
To be fair, I think just about everyone in the party is paranoid at this point, other than maybe Panama, but even then I don't know because it's Panama. How do you solve a problem like Panama? You don't. You just live with it.
Listen,
I will clarify, I'm not complaining about Panama. I'm just babbling. I actually love the characters we have in game. So, I'm not complaining.
Panama is Panama. I don't even know, see, every time we bring up Panama when we're out of game, the little voice in my head that is Lady Geshta is like, get the book from him. That's at the back of my brain, because he won't give her the book.
As he should.
Well, that's your opinion.
Well, yeah, you're biased. You play Gesture. As someone I've sat next to Panama every Saturday for 5 years, and I know what's in that book, and no, Gesture should not have it whatsoever.
You just say that because she is attempted to kill you.
Well, tempted. Even if my biases weren't against Kestra, I still don't think she should have the book.
I thought you loved her now.
Yeah, she's my aunt. It doesn't, much like my loving aunt, I don't want to give her dangerous things either.
Okay. But we're not going to get into this debate. We've had this on character a couple times now. I can want it, and Panama will not give it up, probably. Okay. Dragon. If you think back to Campaign 1, is there any NPC from Campaign 1 that you want to be able to see again in Campaign 2? And Lockie, you can answer it too, because you did sit through most of the sessions as a listener.
That is a painful question. That is an exceedingly painful question. Oh man. I know there's one off the top of my head that I just would want to, but I can't really pick that character for reasons. Um, so I'm oh goodness, I have to try and remember all of the different NPCs. You know what? I want to see Strawberry again. I want to see Strawberry again, and I want to see Mint. I also liked the old toy shop guy, but I think Strawberry and Mint are the reigning two. Partially because I know the toy shop guy doesn't need to be pulled into our party nonsense. He needs to. He is retired and he is enjoying his retirement, and that is good. That is where he belongs because he is a precious guy. So, Mint and Strawberry.
I just have to comment about the toy shop guy. I love the fact that when you guys were talking to him the one time, my daughter came up to me out of and asked me something, and I didn't mute, and I didn't tell you guys I was talking to her. So I said something to her, and as a parent, and you guys took it that he had a daughter that he was suddenly talking to, and that became canon at like that moment. Like suddenly he had a daughter who now runs that toy shop.
I actually forgot about that. And I love that it became a canon thing, and I wish I hadn't forgotten it.
I genuinely hope you guys do get back to Dogvadier with this group. Um, I actually think you guys will because I know that the um, the Flux, I think, was given knowledge, and I think Leo as well, about some items near Belvedere you guys need to retrieve that are not the T set. How about you, Lockie? Is there anybody from Campaign 1 of the NPCs you'd like to see again?
I'm trying to remember her name. It might be Strawberry, actually. There was a sister of Tart, I think it was.
Yep, that was Strawberry.
Okay, there we go.
Strawberry and Mint are his brother and sister.
Yeah, the long-suffering. Was she the one who ran the bathhouse that he kept stealing things from?
Yeah, well, she didn't run it at the time. She was just like the receptionist. She does, in fact, in Campaign 2, own it now.
Okay, well that would be my choice because that was always a fun interaction. So.
Just so you guys can go steal some towels. Listen, I have been warned that if we go, there's a very good chance Leo will do it as a shout out to Tart. So,
That doesn't even surprise me considering he's played both of them.
I am 100% on board for the theft of it. Fun fact, and this is something I think that only Ian was told, I can't remember, that when Tart got married between the two campaigns, Strawberry gave him a full set of monogrammed sheets towels from the bathhouse for him. Didn't stop him stealing more, but
Those would have been the only towels he got from the bathhouse through legitimate means. He probably has 3 cupboards full at least, and those ones are the only ones that were acquired legitimately.
well, he needs that many. How many kids has he had and adopted? And he is
I'll pause.
9, 10. I don't know.
I
Chime into the
believe
comments because I believe he's listening. He should chime into our comments.
I believe the total estimation of children that were on the ship when Tart ferried Catabasis to Evatoria was 11.
11. Yeah, but that included.
That was the end of that included the other kids. I
Yeah.
think Tart himself. I remember talking about this with Ian, and I think you in the past. I think he has 6 at the moment. He may adopt more. Who knows?
We'll have to wait for the thing to catch up so he can tell us how many he's got.
We're
Cause
running a little bit behind, but such is Put it streaming. I shall work on the technology part of it.
But
Rouse the machine spirit within the YouTube.
Indeed.
No, I think that was one of my favorite, like, out of character / like semi in character like dialogues was around Tart, was Flux realizing after we had like left the boat, being like, wait a minute, none of those towels matched that were on the boat. And that was the other thing, was that Flux had no idea that this guy was a pirate, that he was a cleric, like anything about what this guy did. He was just like this very eccentric tiefling that was low-key hitting on him, question mark.
Nobody knows what Tart was doing. I'm not even sure if Tart knew what Tart was doing. But that's just what made it great. Tart was the bard that wasn't a bard.
Traven, who was the bard who didn't flirt with anybody except for his future wife. Then we have, the cleric who is taking that place. But yeah, our cleric of silence, who no one realizes realizes. We need more Tart content.
We need more Tart.
We need some Trey as well.
I didn't want to go there and say, oh my goodness, I want more Traven content now because he was my character. But I also want to see where Miri went, actually. We haven't heard anything about uh, that lovely little halfling lass from campaign 1. And so I really want to just find out what happened with Miri after campaign 1 ended, because I don't know.
I just checked the stream chat, and I think that he was saying there's 9 or 11 kids. But well, you guys will have to go to Ceridium to find Miri and Skylar. And apparently
I knew those two hooked up.
He was apparently, by the way, Tart was blatantly flirting Flux. Yes, and then the cleric of silence who never shuts up. It's perfect. But
I was gonna crack that joke, but then I was like, but I don't want to seem rude because I've already poked fun at Tart a bit and a couple other characters, so I don't know how much I can get away with poking fun at people without sounding like I'm a horrible person. I don't like to pick at people to be mean. I just tend to throw cheeky remarks once in a while. But I did want to make this the Cleric of Silence comment, but I was like, no, let somebody else do it if they do.
Well, he did it himself.
Wait. Hang on. I have a question.
Yes.
Is it that Skylar that Miri ended up marrying? Holy hell. All right.
Sorry. Yes, that was that Skylar.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's it. Okay, all right.
Have I blown your mind now?
A little bit.
Oh, sorry for squeaking child walking past.
Oh, his mind is also blown.
There's the claim to internet fame right there, is squeaking like a screaming toad.
So, alright, so, yep. As of right now, to my knowledge, the campaign 1 characters, we have Miri, who was played by Krem, who's the same one who plays Sasha. She is currently in Ceridium with her family. We have Remy, who is the daughter of the chieftain of Evatoria, and she's being trained to take over that position. And she married Traven, who was living there as well. He is currently on his way to his family manor in Yelazrin. That's where the entire families. I don't have this in
Yeah.
front of me, so I'm guessing.
House Antara is in Yelazrin.
All right. And then we have Dimitri is High Lord Canric, from Dagladier, who most of the time spends a lot of his time in Bani Arium. I can't speak tonight, guys. But the capital of Arameria, doing High Lord stuff. Unless, of course, you guys go there, then he won't be there. Then he'll be back in Dagladier. Because I am keeping him in the world as projected by the player, is what the player had wanted, but the player is no longer part of the group, so I'm not gonna sit there and do a lot of stuff actively. You guys can interact with, like, Beck and their children and all of that. You don't need to interact with him. So, is it only 4 people the first campaign? It was.
Well,
Well,
technically 5, but then
Tart
yeah, we
joined.
had 5, but at the end of campaign 1, Dimitri's player left the group.
Yes.
So, see, technically there were 5. Well, no. Wait, let me. Okay. Give me a sec. Tart, Traven, Remy, Miri, Dimitri. Yeah, there were 5.
So, and then, Tart and his family are either in the seafaring ship or the airship, traveling around, being pirates. Okay, here's a question. If you, as a player, were suddenly part of the All-Seers, and I know the answer is I would leave the All-Seers because they're evil, but what part of the All-Seers, what coat color would you be having? If you need a reminder, I can find the coats from the first rewind we did. Coat colors.
Blue or black, either protector or one of the goons.
I'd probably go for. I believe they were the white coats. I'd go for the healers because I don't think I can handle the other jobs. So, and healing is just something that I'm. Yeah, that's where I'd roll. I haven't played a support class other than the bard that didn't bard. So, well, I guess technically Cat's a support, but he's not doing much of that either.
The necromancer you played in the All-Seer one shot.
Oh, that's right.
Did way more healing than probably my cleric.
That is true, but Grosh also used the ultimatum, take my hit points as your own because you need them more than I do spell.
Yes. Such a good spell. I love that spell.
But yeah, for the most part, when it comes to games in general, I tend to play healer class, so I would probably fit with the white coats better.
So I'm gonna go out there and say I think that Lucky would probably be a brown coat.
I mean,
but
not being familiar with the All-Seers, I mean,
okay.
Defer to your better judgment.
So we have the brown, the 5 divisions, 6 divisions. The brown coats are the Order of the Scribes, also known as acquisitions. They're the ones who do a lot of the library work. They're the ones who go out and collect items to people. New members of the All-Seers. we have the Black Coats, or Order of Silence, or Death Heads. They're the most of them are necromancers, and most of them are the hit squads. If you've seen a Death Coat, you've probably not, a Death Head, you've probably not lived to tell the tale unless you are, like, friendly with them. The Blue Coats are the wardens, the protectors. They're the ones who, protect the other people when they're out traveling, or protect the academy itself, even though it hasn't needed. Who would dare attack, a mage spire full of wizards besides themselves?
Insert redacted name here.
We have the White Coats. Those are the healers. Green Coats are like the PR, mouths, clarity. And the Red Coats are like the overseers, the archons. If you became a high enough professor, you'd end up being offered a red coat as well. Red coat. So, fun fact about the academy: when you start at the academy as a student, and you start learning, your robes or your uniform, or your coat, however you choose to dress yourself, are all in this like neutral kind of gray tones. And as you progress in your learnings, the shades of whichever division you're leaning towards start to appear in it. Which is why, if you remember from campaign 1, Remy was a brown coat. She was specifically like brought by Spelthar, and Spelthar made sure that like her focus was only on what would make her a brown coat. Spelthar's own biological son, at least in Spelthar's mind, betrayed her by becoming a black coat. So yeah, you kind of start with the gray, and then magically, as you are finding your path, your thing changes. However, red coats, obviously no one ever becomes a red coat like that. You advance in the ranks and are offered that position. So, just some fun All-Seer lore. I can speak now.
I see. Oh, excellent.
So, yeah. I don't know. Do we have any other questions or things we want to talk about?
Circling back to people saying what particular characters they want more content of, it isn't really so much as a request as it is as a demand. I demand more Loki content.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Oh,
We need to see more Locklear.
Oh look, he suddenly has a vent the next time we have game. He won't be here.
You're lucky there's an ocean between us.
I don't actually know when your next event is.
Well, I am busy that weekend, unfortunately.
It's okay. I'm a patient man. Wait.
Warning. High levels of sarcasm detected.
I see Kalei
Maybe.
has joined us.
Not quite.
Listen, I want you guys just to go to visit Calais again. See all of his chickens and his goose. And all of Leo's wanted posters.
Yeah, that is a problem. We might not be able to go with Leo with until that's resolved because we don't want Leo to die.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yes.
And this, I don't know if this is like spoilers or like a meta question, but who controls like the bounty on Leo's head? Like, is it the organization or is it like the island that we're on?
So it's not. You guys are currently on
Tortuga.
Tortuga, and so the bounty was put out by the city that he is from.
Ah, okay.
For I don't remember if it was murder or attempted murder right now.
So if we like when we're that bar fight, that like perpetual bar fight in Tortuga, where they like get to like make a law, could we in theory win that and like expunge his name?
Technically no, but what you could do, because again that's a whole different city who's doing it.
But we could debate a new law. You have to pay off his bounty.
You have to protect him, or you have to not come after him. Yes, you can certainly fight your way to the top of that to make a law to protect him, have the pirates protect him.
This is incredible. The greatest WWE ladder match ever.
So, listen, I look forward. I was disappointed in campaign 1. I think that was one of my biggest disappointments, is when the group was on Tortuga. They didn't even investigate that. They just heard the fighting and circumvented it.
Okay. To be fair, at least half the party was nervous rabbits at that point. Metaphorically, nobody got polymorphed. Listeners, don't question that. Because we had, we had Remy, who was nervous about things. Traven, who was nervous about things.
On the run.
Yeah, that too. Dimitri,
On the run.
Yeah. And honestly, I think in our beginning party, the only one who wasn't on the run was Miri, and she was just along for the ride.
Yeah, well, see, okay. So how campaign 1 started is, you guys all, well, the 4 of you, because it was before you guys found Tart, is that you guys all started in the underground prison in the ringed city, and my original thoughts of what you guys were gonna do is you guys were either gonna fight in the arena to get out, or you guys were gonna fight the guards to get out. But what happened is that I, in classic DM blunder, said there was a hallway going the other way. So the wizard sent their familiar down the other hallway. And I'm like, you know what? It pays off. So they went and they saw this old woman in the only locked cell, which, by the way, an unlocked cell, no traps. It took them, I think, a good 20 minutes to get out of the cell because they were all so paranoid of it being locked or trapped. But yeah, so instead they went and found a back way out and snuck out of the city. And then, not very far from the city, they found Traven with Karsus, who is a traveling salesman tiefling who I think Lockie would get along with. He is also a moonshiner.
Instead of shots fired, it's shots taken.
Yes. And then you guys went to Aloxity, and then the Clever Cabbage happened, which I think has become one of my favorite places. And then from there, you guys Eklund took you guys, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Eklund, the absolutely glorious drow pirate man who was flirty with almost everyone, uh, definitely was the one who took us to Tortuga.
When you guys were at Tortuga and you met Raleigh, who scared your nearly 7-foot tall barbarian half to death. And then you guys ended up going to Dogwoodier and meeting Tart. And it was amazing. And weirdly,
Getting...
you
Oh, sorry, go
guys
ahead.
are going from Tortuga likely to Dogwoodier again. Dun dun dun.
The interesting paths we follow.
But what were you gonna say, DC?
I actually forgot, but I do have a question for everybody in the group in general. If you could take one shop or inn or other singular section of city in some form or another and move it into the real world as like a strongly thematic place you could just go, what area, like which establishment would it be?
I have one thing, Flux. You cannot say Waffle House because that already exists.
I know. Can I just say the whole city?
No, it has to be like one particular establishment that's not Waffle House.
The EPS. I want
mean,
magical. I want magical post office.
That would be more effective than the typical postal services we generally have, but I was kind of meaning more like a tourist attraction-y sort of thing, but EPS would be helpful.
When Burrito is just his character.
See, this is the problem, is because I am both the goblin and the most boring person ever, and I don't really have a character that encapsulates both. It's either one or the other.
I mean, taverns already exist as a thing, so.
No, but like a specific singular establishment. Panama has joined us.
Yes, I have.
Just in time for answering a particular question.
So welcome to our podcast.
Yes, welcome to the podcast.
I think it would be the Wisconsin Dells.
What?
I don't know where that is in Evatoria. Sorry, I was meaning like you take a place out of Evatoria and put it into our world. Sorry, I should have been a little more clear with that. I may have stumbled over my words.
All right, okay, other way around.
So a particular question is on the table then.
Yep, right now the question DC just asked all of us, Panama, was if you could take a specific place within, not a whole city, but like a part of the city, from within Evatoria and put it into the real world, where would you pick? Burrito said the EPS, the Evatorian Post Office, which then we made fun of him for being boring. So yeah, that is the question currently on the table.
Well, I would definitely put Otana in Chernobyl.
Well, listen here, Kenneth. Listen here. This is because you are both Kenneth and Panama. You need to. That's. My goodness.
I would have thought you would have said Gester's Library.
No. That's the National Archive.
Well, no, the National Archive doesn't have every book.
That we know of.
Gesh's library has books that haven't been written yet.
Okay, so the Library of Alexandria.
National Treasure intensifies.
National Treasure intensifies.
I can't think. I don't know.
But still, I don't think I'm wrong with any of my answers so far.
Listen.
Yes.
I'm not even going to comment on Canis right now. I think that I would probably pick. Oh, there's too many things. I guess I'm gonna pick someplace you guys have already seen partially. Some of you guys have seen. I would go with the Clever Cabbage because there's too many things I can give as spoilers that would fit. So I'm just gonna go with that answer.
I think with the Clever Cabbage picked, because if nobody else picked the cabbage, wow, that's a hilarious phrase. If nobody else picked the Clever Cabbage, I definitely would have, because it's basically just a hobbit hole turned into an inn, and everything is cabbage themed, and I just think it's adorable. But because the cabbage is picked, I'm gonna actually have to go with either tarts, not tarts, dagnabbit. It's always names mixed up with any characters Ian is involved with, without fail. I'm gonna have to go with either Mint's ice cream shop or the toy shop. Leaning towards the toy shop because I can't help myself. I love toys, even though I'm not a child anymore.
Listen, it was a toy shop that was run by a half-orc who I described as the half-orc version of Santa Claus in appearance. And there was
Did he have a beard?
Yes.
Oh,
And there
okay,
was
cool.
a whole build-a-buddy corner of the shop. Listen, that's a legit answer. I would love that. Let's go right now.
Yeah,
It's called
I remember that. That
Build-A-Bear.
was so fun. No, not Build-A-Bear. This was Build-A-Buddy.
Yes.
Same difference?
Same concept, but better because these Build-A-Buddies could have magical properties.
Build a bard.
Did you say Build-A-Bard?
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah, see, I tried that and then I couldn't play him.
Meredith has questions. So, I had a question and I totally lost it because of the Build-A-Bard. Oh, since Panama's joined us late, we all said our experience with D&D earlier. Would you like to tell us how long you've been playing D&D and stuff?
When did we start?
Well, you guys started that campaign 6 months before I moved back. So
Was that in 2019?
2018.
No. It had to be 2018.
Yeah, it had to be. Because I got back in early 2019. So
Yeah, 2018 then.
So yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, Payne and I are childhood friends.
Yeet.
I'm so sorry.
Why?
For who?
I'm not answering that question.
Now, 2 questions were asked. Why and for who?
I'm not answering that question. Either
Rude.
of them.
Rude.
Yeah, I was just over here thinking to myself, see, that explains a lot about both of them.
No, it doesn't.
It explains why all our one-shot characters are duos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chaos there.
Listen, sometimes you just need a little chaos.
Okay,
Was-
Kenneth, back in
I
the
was gonna
box.
say, was that Cadence there?
Possibly.
It's the Cadence.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
Uh-oh.
I should not get that excited. I'm sorry.
If you're not careful, we'll end up with like an impromptu, out-of-game, in-character, nonsensical podcast, which I don't know if we want to do that as the first one.
That's probably not good for the first one. So. Okay, so I have a question. Of the other PCs of Campaign 2, if you had to play one of them for a session, which character do you think you would enjoy playing the most?
You mean like of other people's?
Yeah, the other
PCs?
PCs. Yeah.
If we had to like swap PCs, I would either want to play Leo or Panama.
I think I would probably enjoy Calais the most.
Oh, I can see that.
That's a good question.
But can Panama actually come down to the normal level for anybody?
I am at a normal level.
Kitabasis would like a word with you backstage after the show.
What if I told you? What if I told you Panama was his most normal character?
Yeah, I could believe that.
I have played in
Amun's pretty normal.
a couple games with Panama now, and I would agree.
So Panama is the Ric Flair of our group. Let's look at this.
God.
How about you, DC?
I think if I had to play anybody else's character in the party, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, either Leo or Flux. Because there's a couple very entertaining reasons. I would say Panama. I am not confident enough to play that level of personality. So, as much as I love that man's sense of style, for the sake of his pride and mine, I will not say Panama. So I'll go with Flux or Leo.
You mean you don't want to shout at the gods?
Oh no. I mean that would be that's easy. Cat's already done that off screen.
Why are you complaining to me about it then?
Because there's a difference between yelling because you're annoyed and yelling because you want background noise and yelling because you want attention. For those of you
not
who
the point of yelling?
I mean sometimes you just want to vent.
And
I just
you got
saw
to vent in person.
Yeah, it was unexpected. I will say, just as a quick little thing for the sake of the podcast, Ian has put forth a little message saying that he thinks he'd like to play Kitabasis or Sasha. And either of those are entertaining options. I would love to see Ian play either kind of personality.
I can't imagine Ian playing a grumpy character. And as much as we love Katabadad, that he is a grumpy character.
I think I could play Flux.
Okay, I might be eating my own words later, but I would love to see you try.
Should we play a body swap? One shot, one time, non-canon. We each play somebody else's character.
That, or we just play a one shot where everybody makes a character and they are randomly numbered by whichever person is playing the illustrious DM. And then you dice roll, and anyone that isn't your character is who you get stuck with. and somebody else has built their personality and all of that. I don't know how you'd build background, but I want to see random roulette D&D happen at one point.
If
Sold.
we do that, we have to record that for the channel.
Someone's already eager for that. I heard that chuckle.
Easy sold.
Easy.
Listen, I can hear Ian as well, even though he's not joining us. I can hear him, and he is totally for it.
Yes, I believe the general reaction might be something along the lines of sold? Yeah, that sounds fun, or let's freaking go.
I'm a little down for a little Freaky Friday.
So, I actually have a question for you, Panama. Since
Boy.
your character and you came in with basically no knowledge of the world. I know you had access to the lore documents, but I don't think you bothered to read most of it because why not? How do you think Panama's faring in the world of Evatoria compared to previous places he's been?
He hasn't starved yet, so
Has he starved in other places?
listen. You spend a lot of time eating good berry, you get used to the good berry. And when you don't have the good berry, you have a bad time.
Are you saying that you're missing your friend?
Always.
I think I heard an accent. Was that
Yes,
in
it is.
character by chance?
Yes, it was.
So it's harassing Panama.
Ooh.
with a character that makes me very excited.
Yes. Because I harassed him.
That's I mean, it's legit been said that you and Burrito were friends since you were kids. That's just part and parcel.
No, I meant his character.
It's you and Burrito.
Yeah, it's true.
Shatter.
Okay, so fun fact.
Fun
Other
fact.
day, I was having a conversation, I think it was with Burrito, about if I was going to, like, write up character sheets for each of the players, okay? And we had said that, that you, Panama, would get Shatter as, like, a cantrip.
That'd be a mistake.
But it would be accurate.
It would be, but it'd be a mistake.
I don't remember most of that conversation, but that's the one thing that's stuck in my head.
No, that'd be a mistake. A horrible mistake.
The stories I've heard about the Shatter antics are so memorable that I had to make a nod to it in my own campaign.
Let me point out, since then, whenever I've written, like, spellcasters that can have Shatter, I usually include Shatter.
Oh, would you look at that? They've always hit me as well.
No, not always. One hit Angelica.
That's fair, but when I wasn't in that scene, you used it to torment me.
Listen, you like it.
Hang on just a second.
Oh, and he's gone.
Careful, gang. He's finding his spell book. He's winding up.
I was just about to say, and just as quickly and mysteriously, Panama disappears just as he came.
No, my headset on my computer did not have a full charge like I thought it did. So I had to switch over to a different headset.
So, question for, I don't know if these are for the players or characters or just in general. So it has been canonically asked and starting the process of Angelica, who is Flux's friend who escaped the Allseers, that she has gotten permission to go and get the two other friends of hers who escaped and start a rival school of wizardry in Gwydir. What is your guys' take on a second wizard school being created?
They act like the Gestapo.
Ideally, no. But also, I don't feel like I can answer this question because I'm biased because my character was like helped get it started. So
Ultimately, I don't care. Or let me rephrase it. Panama, the character, does not care. It's none of his business.
Unless he gets tied to Evatoria and then can never leave.
We'll see what happens.
That was not a threat.
This sounded a lot like a threat.
I was just waiting for B to say it was a guarantee.
I don't make threats, I make promises.
Exactly. Uh-oh.
Let's not
Oh boy.
start
Don't
doing
threaten me.
that.
I
Good
make
time.
tea.
Man, you should come make me some tea. DC, what do you think, or Catabsis think, or Clay think, or
Oh
I don't-
goodness, because yeah, that's three different potential answers there. Catabasis, he'd he'd be leery, but ultimately he wouldn't argue against it because it's not his business, and he has his own things in his background that he doesn't talk about because redacted. Um, so Cat's kind of skeptical, but whatever, it's their decision. Calais would be excited because more people can learn magic. That is a very exciting idea. And me, I'm just like, yeah, sure. Get magic out there. Let people learn it who aren't gonna be, sucked into the All-Stars. I figure on the Gadir's a good place to have it because you've got so many people able to keep an eye out and it's like, okay, this needs to be dealt with if things go wrong.
love it. I cannot think of anything other for this session. Do you guys have any other questions? In or out of character type? Again, no spoilers.
I don't have anything other than I am excited for the next session.
Yeah, I'll second that. I'm stoked.
So at everybody in the Discord and let's get it cracking. We got 30 minutes. We usually start at 9.
Something's telling me that ain't quite gonna work.
I know. I'm just playing.
Alright. Well, I think then we will be ending our